Alright friends, so today we're going to go over surface area of rectangular prisms and pyramids, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. There are two types of surface area of prisms and pyramids, okay? Lateral surface area is going to be the area of faces only of a 3D figure. Okay, so this one is faces only, no bases. Okay, total surface area is area of all faces and bases of a 3D figure. Okay, this one is faces and bases. This right here, if your parents are watching with you or listening, reminds me of the band called Ace of Base. Yeah. Faces, bases, Ace of Base. Okay. Alright, so here, let's go ahead and continue. Alright, so vocabulary, we have rectangle. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Rectangular prisms. Now, rectangular prisms have two bases, and rectangular pyramids have one. Okay? Now, a face is just a side. Okay? And there is four on each. Now, let's think about this. Okay? It's a rectangle, right? And the rectangle has to have a side attached to it on each side of the rectangle. That's why it has four on each for a rectangular prism or pyramid. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about how the faces on a rectangle is going to be, excuse me, I did this wrong. A prism, sorry, that's what I meant to say. Prism is going to be a rectangle. Okay, and then a pyramid is going to have the side or the face being a triangle, because a triangle, my cat's trying to get in here, a triangle goes up into a point, okay, it doesn't have another base. All right, a net is just a 2D or two-dimensional composite figure. Okay, so let's look at this rectangular prism. I'm going to move this just a little bit. There we go. All right, so here, if we look at this one, here are the bases. On this actual picture, the bases are right here. Okay, and then everything else is a face. Okay, so let's go ahead and label those. Base here, face, 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 and a face. Okay, but I do want to speak on something. All of these look to be the same. There are going to be some prism nets that are not going to have the same thing. Okay, for instance, this one will match with this one. They'll be one size, and then you'll see that this one is going to be matching with this one, and they will be a different size. Okay, and you'll see more of that here in a little bit, but I just wanted to bring up that little point. Don't think they're all the same size. You gotta really pay attention to the dimensions of each shape. Okay, so let's look at the pyramid. So in the pyramid, okay, these are rectangular pyramids. Okay, in a rectangular pyramid, you've got your base, which is down here, and then everything else over here is going to be your face. Okay, so if we look at it this way, here it is, this is your base, and these are your faces. Ace of base. Okay, so base here, face, 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 and face, okay? And again, same thing goes with this one. Do not assume that they are all the same size, because these two may match, and then these two will match. These two will have one size or one area, and these two will have another area. Like, they will have different dimensions, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and pause if you need to, and then go to page 82. All right, let's go to page 82. So page 82, we are going to talk about what formula. First of all, I want to look at the net and look at what shapes we have and what formulas we need. So I'm looking at this, and all I see is that they are rectangles. That means I'm going to be using just area is equal to base times height, okay? Now, I want to remember that bases have prisms have two bases, and there's four faces, okay? So here, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to highlight. This is my base, okay? And then before I continue, I want to make sure that I know the dimensions, because that's going to help me decide if the faces are going to be the same or different, okay? So if this side, when I have it folded, it's going to touch this side right here, which means that that side, this one is going to be 4, which means this one's 4, which means this one's 4, this one's 4, this one's 4, 4 here, and 4 here. Okay, so that's good. Now, this side right here is 5, which means that all of these are going to be 5, okay? Before I continue, I want to make sure that we do this here, okay? It may have to be a little bit higher. Okay, right there. So, this shape, write this little note, should be a little smaller. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. Okay. Now, this side of this rectangle is 3, which means that this one's going to be 3. These are 3 right here. Okay. Now, if I'm looking at this and I'm seeing which two are the same or which two match, okay, I see that this one matches this one because it's 5 by 4, okay, and then this is a 5 by 3. I see here that I have one more left. These two are going to match, okay? Now remember, if they're parallel to each other, when it touches the top, when it's folded up on top of this one, it's going to also have a side of 3 right here, okay? So we're done. Okay, now, here's a couple of strategies that you can use, okay? For the notes only, okay, you can highlight it, you can label it, you can do whatever, right? But when it comes to the actual, like, test, you're going to need to do this on your own paper. You're not going to have the picture. You can draw the picture, and then you can draw on the picture, do whatever you need to do with the picture, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the dimensions to determine which shape I'm working with, okay? So the first one that I'm going to work with is the 3 by 4, the bases, okay? And there's 2, so I'm going to write times 2. Now, I know that I'm going to do base times height, okay? Base is 4, height is 3. That is going to be 12 centimeters squared, okay? That's 1, all right? And then I'm going to do the green one, which is a 4 by 5, okay? So again, 4 by 5, and we're going to say times 2, okay, because there's 2 of those. Area is equal to base times height. Area is equal to 5 times 4. That is 20 centimeters squared, okay? Now, I haven't multiplied anything yet, okay? I'm just finding the area of 1 right now. Now let's do the last one, which is going to be the blue one, okay? And this one is going to be a 3 by 5. There's 2 of those as well. Area is equal to base times height. Area is equal to 3 times 5, which is going to be 15 centimeters squared. Okay, so now, okay, I'm going to show you the strategy here in a minute of how you can solve this when you're taking the test or when you don't have the actual picture, okay? But let's talk about this. So lateral surface area is, let's write this here, is only faces, no bases, okay? So all that is this right here, okay? So couple of things. For the notes only, what I'm going to do is for the 3 by 4, I'm going to write 12 inside. 12 inside here. For the green one, which is the 5 by 4, I'm going to write 20 in here, 20 in here. For the blue one, I'm going to write 15 and 15 here. Okay, so we have all of them labeled. Now, what you can do is either add them, okay? So over here, I would do 20 plus 20 plus 15 plus 15. Or you can use the work that you've already done of finding the areas of each type of rectangle. What we are looking at is the 5 by 4 and the 3 by 5, right? So here is the 5 by 4 right here. We're going to multiply that by 2, okay? So 0, 4 here. So this is going to be one of the ones that you're going to add, okay, for your lateral surface area. Then we're going to do this one too. 15 times 2, that would be 10. So that would be 30 centimeters squared. And here's another one. So all we have to do is do 40 plus 30, which is going to give us 70 centimeters squared, okay? This is your answer for lateral surface area. Okay, now total surface area is adding all of it. Now we're going to include the whole thing. Okay, but like I said, you can either add all of it together. Now I already have part of it. I already have 70. I just have to find the other part. That other part is not going to be 12, but it's going to be times 2. Okay, which is going to be 24 centimeters squared. Okay. This are the bases, okay? So 24, and then you're just going to add these two, okay? So that would be 94 centimeters squared. All right, and that's it, okay? So that's one strategy of you using, okay, to be able to help you determine what you're doing and what you're solving for, okay? Remember, you're going to add all of them. So you can still add them like I did here, okay? And if I were to have done the same thing over here, it would have been 70 plus 12 because you have 2 of them. This would have still been 24, and it still would have been the same thing, okay? All right, pause if you need to. I'm going to go to rectangular pyramids. All right, so rectangular pyramids. Now let's take a look at this. I want to first analyze the shape. Here I see the base. The base is a square. And a square is going to use the formula of area is equal to base times height. Simple enough, right? I'm also going to use, if I come back over here and I look at this, I have 4 faces of a triangle, okay? So I would use 1/2 base times height. Let me write that right. Area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Okay, so now that we've established about formulas, let's go ahead and write. This is going to have 1 base only, but it still has 4 faces. Okay, now in this one, there's enough space to show you the other strategy of how you can solve this. Okay. And then what we'll do in the squares is we'll break it down. Okay, so I want us to go ahead and draw a T-chart. The first T-chart is going to be the square. Okay, Then this one is going to be the area of the triangle, which is times 4. There's 4 of them, okay? And this is going to be your total, okay? All right, so for the base, we are using base times height, okay? Base is going to be 7. Height is going to be 7. So that is going to be 49 inches squared, okay? And there's only one of those, so I'm done with this part right here, okay? Now the triangle, area is equal to, let me move this a little bit over this way, okay, to give me some space. 1/2 base times height. Okay, remember the base, if this side, let me do this in a different color, maybe purple, okay? If this side is 7, then that means that this side is 7, okay? So 7 and then times the height. Remember, if you trace this and you draw the right angle, this is your height. So again, it'll be 7 times 7. So far we got area is equal to 1/2 times 49. Now that means I have to divide 49 divided by 2. 2 can go into 4 2 times. And then 2 can go into 9 4 times. That'll be 8. We bring down the 0 after we add the decimal and 0. And then it can go into 10 5 times. So it'll be area is equal to 24.5. However, what did we write up here? We said times 4, and also we've only found the area of 1. We need the other 3 added into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 4. So 5 times 4 is 20, 16, 17, 18, 8, 9. So that would be 90 inches squared. This is the final answer for the triangles, okay? Now, I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to finish writing the total right here. But I'm going to talk about the lateral surface area and the total surface area. Okay, remember, lateral surface area is faces only, no bases. Okay, we've already basically done that work using the T-chart. Okay, this right here is this. Okay, what we did is this part. Let me do this and this part right here. We're going to do it right here. Okay, how are we going to do that? Well, you can either do 24.5 plus 24.5 plus 24.5 plus 24.5. And you add all of that together, you're still going to get the same thing. 5, 10, 15, 20, 16, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. You see? Or you can just understand that that is times 4 and do what we did up here, okay? But if you do the T-chart, you're already doing this part, okay? I'm just breaking it down so that you understand what that is, okay? So 98 inches squared is your lateral surface. Total surface area is going to be all. It's going to be faces and bases. Remember, ace of base. Okay, so here, we've already done that. All that is, or we've done part of it, excuse me, not all of it. 98 plus the 49, okay? That's, let me show you that. This part is going to be this part right here, okay? When you are finding the total in your T-chart, you're doing the total surface area, okay? So that is going to be 98 plus 49. And it's going to be 147 inches squared. Okay, same thing here. 147 inches squared. Okay, all right. Pause if you need to. All right, I'm going to do a couple of extra questions over here. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Pause if you need to. I'm going to move to another page, okay? And I'm going to give some examples of that, okay? So here, let's go ahead and do the first one, okay? I know that we did this one in class as well, but here, let's go ahead and what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to highlight my faces and my bases. Okay, so there I have that, okay? I do like to do the T-chart, so I'm going to do the square. I'm going to label this base, okay, to distinguish, right? I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay, and then here in this one, I'm going to do triangle times 4 to help me remember that I'm going to multiply by 4 and total here, okay? So base, if I look at this, all of these, this is a square, are all going to be 8, okay? Let's look at all the other dimensions. So I'm seeing that this says right here that this is 13. I don't need that. Let's go ahead and cross that out. I do need this because if I trace this, this is a H, which means that this is height of the triangle, okay? Let's go ahead and write height of triangle. Okay, now let's go back to the base. So the base formula is area is equal to base times height. Base is 8, height is 8, which is going to be 64 millimeters squared. Okay, I'm done with that piece. I can go ahead and do this because I'm not going to multiply it. All right, now let's do this one right here. Area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Area is equal to 1/2. Now base is going to be, if I'm looking at one triangle, let me go back over here. I'm going to do this in a different color. If I'm looking at this one here, okay, 8 is the base. And then height is going to be 6, okay? And I know that 8 times 6 is going to be 48. However, I have 1/2, so I know that I'm going to do 48 divided by 2, which is just going to be 24. And now here, I'm not done yet because this is the area of 1. I need the area of all the other 3 added into it. So I'm going to multiply by 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, 8, 96. Can't even talk right. 96, let me write that again. 96 millimeters squared. This is my final answer for this. Now remember, this is lateral, okay? Now, we're taking the lateral and the bases and we're adding them together. So 96 plus 64, 10, 10, and then 60. So we would have 160 millimeters squared. Okay. All right. So we're done with that question, okay? The final answer is going to be 160 millimeters squared. All right. We're going to skip number 2 and we're going to go to number 3, okay? So find the total surface area, okay? So again, pause if you need to get that first one. I'm going to go ahead and zoom into number 3. I'm going to set up, first of all, hold on. We're going to find our dimensions first, okay? So here, I see that this side is 6, which means that these sides are going to be 6. Okay. Now, same thing over here. This side is going to be 6, so this side is going to be 6 too. If this is 4, it's going to touch this side, so that side's 4. So 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, okay? Again, 4 here and 4 here, 4 here, and then the middle ones, we're going to have 8, 8, 8, and 8. So now we've got all the dimensions, okay? Let's go ahead and see and color code these or separate these. So these two, they're 6 by 4, so those are going to be the base. Those are the bases. Now let's look at the faces. Let's see if they're all the same or if we can separate them. So I have a 4 by 8 here. This next one is a 6 by 8, so that one doesn't match. But this one here is a 4 by 8, so those two go together. Now the 6 by 8 is going to go with this one down here because it's also a 6 by 8. Okay? All right. Now, because you have this on paper, there's a couple of ways that you can do this, okay? For this one, I'm going to label these A, these are B, and these are C, okay? So here, let me go ahead and do my T-chart, okay? I'm going to start off with A, which is the rectangle that is a 4 by 6 times 2, okay? The next one is rectangle B, which is a 4 by 8 times 2. The next one is C, which is going to be a rectangle that is 4 by 8. No, hold on. 8 by 6. Okay, so 6 here, 8 here. Okay, and then we need our total. All right, so let's work through these. So area is equal to base times height. Okay. If we look at the first one, it's a 4 by 6. So we're going to do 6 times 4, which is going to be 24. Okay. Now it says that I have 2 of them. Remember, I know that I have 2 of them, so that's going to be 48 feet squared. Okay. I'm done with that one. Okay. Now on this one, area is equal to base times height. I have a 4 by 8. That is B. Okay. So 4 times 8. And I know that 4 times 8 is 32. But remember, I have 2 of them. So we're going to multiply. So that's going to be 64 feet squared. Done with that one. Okay. Now looking at C. C is a 6 by 8. So area is equal to 6 times 8. And I know that 6 times 8 is 48. But remember, I have to multiply by 2 because there's 2 of them. So 2 times 8 is going to give me 16. 896 feet squared. So now I have all 3 different types of rectangles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these. Okay, now think back. Okay, if I write this, and I'm going to do this in purple so that you can see. Okay, A was 24 here. Now I'm going back to this original number that I got, the area of 1. Okay, the area of 1 rectangle B is going to be 32. And the area of 1 rectangle C is going to be 48. Okay, what I did was I skipped the step of writing all of them out and trying to add them all. I just know that I have 2 of rectangle A's, so I'm going to multiply by 2. And if we look at it, it's 24 plus 24, that is 48. Okay, this one, 32 plus 32, that is 64. Okay, and yes, that is 96. Okay, the 248 plus 48 would be 96. So I just went ahead and did all that in the T-chart. Now all I have to do is add 48 plus 64 plus 96 to get my final answer. Okay, 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. 6 plus 4 is 10. Plus 9 is 19, 20. Okay, let me just check to make sure that I did this correctly. Yes, so 208 feet squared. This is our final answer. Okay. All right, pause if you need to. Those are the last 2 questions that I'm going to do. All I was doing right now is trying to give you strategies that is going to help you keep everything in order, organized, and a way that's going to be easier than having multiplication, division, addition all over your paper, okay? Doing it this way really keeps everything organized, okay? All right. Hope that you have a great day. Come back for the rest of the notes, okay?